I'd like to remind everyone, inshallah, we will be making a janazah salat for the son of one of our members, Craig Thorpe. Inshallah, we ask everyone to hang around for that right after salat. Inshallah. Always.
Sustainer of creation, and for this reason he is most deserving of the attribute Rabb al-Alameen. Rabb al-Alameen. He is the owner of all of existence, the creator of all of existence, the generator of all of existence, the beginning of existence, as well as the end of existence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Hayy. He's the ever-living, eternal. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's life is eternal. It always was. And as the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam taught the companions, when they pondered the question, what was there before Allah? What was there before Allah? Because the Prophet taught them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had no beginning. He had no father, no mother, that Allah ta'ala he's an entity of himself. And he taught this to the companions, and quite naturally they said, well, you know, what was there before Allah? What was there before creation as we know it? What was there before Adam? And the Prophet ﷺ said, Kan Allah wa lam yakun ma'ahu shay'. He said there was Allah and there was nothing else with him. to teach them that Allah Ta'ala is eternal. There's no way to conceptualize who Allah is. There's no way. We can't do it. We're not capable of doing it. And Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala tells us by way of the Quran so that we can use our intellect and use our reason to come to this conclusion. And when we come to this conclusion, by way of our reason, by way of our intellect, we are using our intellect in the right way. But if we use our intellect in the other way, and the other way means that when we try to rationalize, even about Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, why did God do this or that? And not in a way that is questioning, because this is permissible. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala tells us in Surah Al-Baqarah about the searching of Ibrahim. So Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam had questions, right? He wasn't traditional in the sense that the other messengers, they were traditionally selected. Their stories are stories that have followed a particular model. But Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam was a wanderer and a thinker. He has a very unique story in the Quran. As Prophet Ibrahim would wonder. And one of the things that he wondered about was this creation, the vastness of it, the expansion of it, how great this creation is, as far as you can see with your eye. And this is only the eye with this limited ability to perceive things. That's how far you can see, but you can't see everything. And as far as Ibrahim alayhi salam could see, he saw majesty. So when he saw the moon, he said, "Hada Rabbi." He said, that right there, that glorious creation is my Lord. That thing, that awesome thing is my Lord. But when the moon disappeared, he said, "La uhibbu al-afilin." I don't like things that disappear. Meaning that thing can't be God because God is a constant presence. And when this thing disappears, even if it goes out of his sight, right? So his conception of Allah is that Allah is always there. He looked at the sun. And the awesomeness of the sun, he said, that is my Lord. Right? Not with affirmation, not with certainty. I gotta see this thing to understand it. And when the sun set, again, this can't be my Lord. So the questioning of Ibrahim was a questioning of searching. And certainly, this is permissible. Allah tells us in the Quran that the Quran is a book for people who think. So Allah calls us to thinking. He even calls us to critically think. But what he doesn't call us to do, brothers and sisters, is what is clearly the malady of the human being, and we see it in these times, where it's manifested so clearly that if you're looking, you can say, that's it right there. And if you point to it, people will say, man, you're crazy. No, this is how something's supposed to be. Because now human beings are using reason to now disregard Allah. There's no God, man, why? Because we figured this out. This is how people talk. We got this whole science told us what this is, which is a partial truth. Because the reality of a scientific discovery is that it's a scientific discovery. So we can discover through the ways and means of science how we can develop a better, we have limbs now, artificial limbs, right? They even have hearts. And this today, and And it's progress in science now, they want to clone people. So this robot stuff people are making now, they're cloning, right? And so the person in question, can they put an us inside of the clone? And believe me, because the reason is being used in the wrong way. So they're going to say, yeah, we can do it. Just like back in the day when I was young growing up, there was this idea that we can solve death. We are going to reach the point in our lives, in the life of humanity, in the course of human progress, we'll get to the point where we will even have an answer for death. Right? And so we heard the stories, and I don't know how true they are, about, you know, the super wealthy people who have their bodies. They're waiting for science to catch up, to figure out how to solve death. When the most simple, basic believer, our kids know, you can't solve death. There's no solution. Why? Because we didn't create death the same way we do not create life. I don't care what we say. Because many times what we say is language of delusion. We did this and we did that. But Allah Ta'ala and the Prophet ﷺ taught us. What did he teach us? And we say it. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. What does that mean? La hawla. That means I don't have any ability. For real. Why? Because even my very body, it doesn't respond to me. Yeah, I get the neurons and the stimulant and the mental pathways and all that stuff. And it's beautiful stuff. I'm not even saying that that stuff is useless knowledge. I am critiquing the use of that knowledge. Those are two different things. Because if I'm using this advanced knowledge to now put myself or any other created being in the place of the Creator, this is the grossest violation that a human being can commit. And yet, look at us. As many problems as we solve, there are that many problems that we have created. And in the process of making it worse. Why? Because somewhere in there is this place of the refusal to surrender to Allah. And the surrender to Allah is an act of two things. It's an act of humility, but it is also an act of strength. The humility is that you know your place. You know, the funny thing about the labs that I say I imagine, and they're probably true, just like Area 52 or whatever it is with the UFO stuff, this is stuff I listened to growing up, right? Then there's the lab where they have the brain on ice or the heart or the body, and they're just waiting for animation and to reanimate. Some Frankenstein stuff, right? Bring that person back to life, the person that was born in 18 so-and-so, or 1910, 1920. That person can come back to life in 2020, 2030. This is the folly of human beings. This is playing. When you boil it down to its true spiritual reality, it's playing. Why? Because we don't have the ability to create anything. And Allah says this in Surah Al-Hajj. Ya ayyuhan nas, duriba mathalun fastami'u lah. O humanity, Allah gives you a parable. Listen to it. إن الذين تدعون من دون الله لن يخلقوا ذبابا ولو اجتمعوا له. All of the ones that you take as gods over God do not have the capacity to create a fly. And I'm not talking about a robot fly. I'm not talking about, you know, with the HD technology, you can put it in the printer and you can get a carbon copy, but you can't get the original. And that's what Allah produces, the original. And each and every one of us is an original. And nobody can make the original but Allah. But human beings, not just now, even in old times, this is the human endeavor, a part of it. The sad part of it, right? That we engage in this effort to, you know, do things because we don't understand our place. This is not why Allah gave us reason. So we can just let reason run unchecked, unsupervised, undisciplined. We're supposed to control reason. And if we use reason, Allah Ta'ala will, by way of reason, we can speak to the heart. As for those who seek lordship, because the reason why Allah is the Rabb is because we can't do anything. La hawla wa la quwwata. I have no strength except by Allah. This is the real deal. Right? I did not control how I got here. I had nothing to do with that. And my coming into the stages of consciousness, right, is the order that Allah created. This is how I came to become aware of things. But I didn't sit down and write out any life plan prior to, you know, when I was 19. Okay, I got a pen. Okay, now I'm going to write this. I'm going to do this. Prior to that, when you were 9 months, Allah tells you, وَاللَّهُ أَخْرَجَكُم مِّن بُطُونِ أُمَّهَاتِكُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ شَيْئًا. He extracted us from the wombs of our mothers and we knew nothing. That was our state, man. We, you know, couldn't talk, couldn't feed ourselves, couldn't clean ourselves. Mom had to come and wipe your butt. Oh, but the arrogance of the human being. We forget that. That was our beginning. And really, in terms of reality, if we are blessed to make it to the other side of life, old age, that is our end. We can barely feed ourselves and somebody got to wipe your butt. But how arrogant are you? When Allah gives you the best that you can have, your intellect at its best, how do you use it? Your physical strength at its best, how do you use it? Do you use it to serve? Are you in a state of surrender? Are you striving to get there? Or is it that when you have the strength, you use it to wreak havoc? Right? And then when you're old and broken up, you don't got a choice. Now oh man, back hurt, knees hurt, can't see. Right? Oh, now, listen, that's Bani Adam. Of course, with the exception of the ones that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala touches and enlightens. Right? Because the reality is, as Allah tells us, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We came from Allah and we're going back to Allah. And our reality in the middle is that we are souls. All of us are souls that live in bodies. That is your reality. Even if you don't accept it, even if you don't understand it, that is your reality. That is the essence of your belief. that when you come here, you came from somewhere. And when you leave here, you're going somewhere. That's why we have janazah. That's why we put people on the ground. That's why we make dua. Because we're giving them a care package for the next round. Allah tells us, we give them what they need. We don't put any of the stuff. Right? Because none of the stuff matters. Your clothes, your suits, your shoes, your hats, your watches, your bank accounts. Right? Your houses, your deeds, the property that you own. Right? You can't take none of that with you. And even if you did, it wouldn't do anything for you. Because if you're bankrupt on the spiritual end, guess what? You are bankrupt. If you're bankrupt on the spiritual end, you are bankrupt. Because Allah is not going to ask you how many zeros are in the bank account. Allah is not going to ask anything about that. That is a part of the human reality in this realm of existence. But that is not the totality of it. And when we make it the totality of our existence, we are, as Allah said in Surah Al-Asr, Innal insana lafi khusr. We're playing a losing game. You can't win that game. And all the things that we amass, as Allah tells us in Takathur, Alhaakum at-takathur. I mean, just read the Quran. You don't have to take a word that I'm saying. Just read it. Alhaakum at-takathur. We're distracted by, the possibility of a little bit more stuff. But remember that none of this stuff, we can't take it with us. And the reality of the human being is also that if I amass stuff and then I leave, I die, the ones who come after me, they can blow my stuff. Because that stuff doesn't matter for much. Except what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. All you who believe, observe your duty to Allah, be conscious of Allah, and let every soul look to that which it has prepared for tomorrow. And even we Muslims are confused about this, because sometimes the way we talk about this understanding is that we make the assumption that in preparing for tomorrow, that means I neglect living today, which is not even logical. Your body has a need now. There are things that you need now to make it to tomorrow. So Allah never tells you to neglect today for the sake of tomorrow. He says don't neglect tomorrow because you're trying to get all of today. And he calls us, look at that which you prepare for tomorrow. And then he repeats, wattaqullah, and be diligent, be conscious of Allah. Verily Allah is well informed of all you do. All you do. Then he cautions us, and be not like those who forgot Allah. And therefore he caused them to forget their own souls. فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. And this dunya is full of things that can cause you to forget your soul, because you can get lost in stuff. You can get lost in the pursuit of material things. You can get lost in the pursuit of the dunya. You can literally get lost. The ulama al-Sufiya, the scholars of the soul, the veil is like this cloudy mist. You can't see. The objects are there, but you can't see them. It's like you're walking into a wall, but there's fog. You really can't see the wall. Is that a wall? Then bam! Oh, that was a wall. And the way that you don't forget Allah is that you don't forget who you are. The Prophet ﷺ says, Inna fil jasadi mubgha idha saluhat صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت أو فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. Somebody's like tearing it up. It's okay. It's all good. I wasn't sure I heard that. That's okay. MashaAllah. Right? The Prophet said that there is a morsel of flesh in the body. And when that morsel seeks righteousness, the entire body is right. And the opposite is true. If that morsel is corrupt, then the entire body is corrupt. And what this means is that the manifestations, the internal manifestation, there's an internal reality and an external reality. The external manifestation. If your heart is dark, your manifestation will be darkness. This is why it's easy for some people to do evil. It's easy because, not that we all don't have the capacity to do it, but some people, it's easy for them to do it. Because this part of the body is neglected. And the opposite is true. The external manifestation of an enlightenment in the heart is that light will come. And all of these moral values that we talk about begin to show up. Because I'm doing this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And so we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He bless us to remember. Right? And that we're humble enough to invest in our hearts. Right? Because it's not a small thing, it's a big thing. You know, you and I both, me too, like we have to ask ourselves, when we look at the evolution, to, you know, how spiritually evolved are you? You've been a Muslim 25, 30 years. But how spiritually evolved are you? This is a real question. Why? Because the spiritual masters teach about people who have prayed for decades. It's like the old lady used to tell me when I was growing up. Let your salah be more than you bumping your head on the ground. Man, and that's all you're doing because you're just bumping your head on the floor. I used to think, man, that sounds harsh, right? Why? Because there's a presence of the heart that accompanies salah. You're not just going through the motions. You don't just go through the motions, show up to the mosque and just, because you don't, like a robot, you don't have nothing, you don't know anything different. No. You are here by your choice. So this is a real question. How spiritually evolved are you? Have you done the work? Or you just talk about it? Because there's a difference between doing dhikr and, talking about dhikr and then doing dhikr for the sake of your own spiritual evolution, your growth, your improvement. This is the human part of it, the spiritual part of it. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those who pursue this path. We ask Allah to keep us on this path, the straight path. قُلْ هَذَا وَاسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ الْعَظِيمَ لِي وَلَكُمْ وَلِسَائِرِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ وَالْمُسْلِمَاتِ الَّذِينَ اسْتَغْفِرُوهُ إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد خير الطاهر الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Amin. One of the reasons for selecting verses in Surah Al-Hashr. Surah Al-Hashr is the surah translated as the gathering, Surah 59, and the verses are verse 18 through 21. Right? Is because one of the deceptions of Shaitan, right? Particularly when you're young or younger, but even people, we have this, right? We have this idea that there's a certain time that you die and we know it. Like we have this idea that we can prevent it. So if I just do this, that, and the other, I can really I can prevent death. Even if we don't say it, it shows up in how we live. We live like we got time to put all that stuff, right, on the side. I'll get around to that. Because I still got time. I'm still relatively young. Right? But I call your attention to something. Because we received a request from our dear brother Craig. Craig lost his son. Right? He has to submit janazah for him. And, of course, Craig's son lived in Indianapolis. It's a young man in his 30s. Died in a car accident. Right? And, you know, because I have spent many years as an imam, I've washed bodies, I've put people on the ground, I often wonder, do we think about that? Like, is the janazah just something that we show up to because it's an event? And I know I'm going to see the brothers are going to see me, we can kick it for a minute. Yeah, we'll make the 2 rak'ah, right? We'll make dua because the imam said make dua. Or am I thinking that, you know, really, for real, get your act together because you don't know when it's going to be your turn. You really don't know that. And I challenge you, if you find out when it's time for you to die, I will give you my cell phone number. I want you to call me. I want you to email me. I want you to message me on Facebook, on Instagram. I want you to tell me. Because you would have done something that no human being has the capacity to do, ever. And it should humble you. It should humble us. Because Allah got us like this. He's the one holding us. We're holding it together by Allah. I'm here by Allah. The next breath is by Allah. Because it could go just like that by Allah. Because nobody knows when they're going to die. No young person wakes up unless they're not well and they plan to kill themselves. They don't wake up and say, so, to-do list, eat breakfast, get on Facebook, die. We don't do it. That's not how we're programmed. We all want to live. And so the stark reality of death is that it is a reminder to stop playing so much. Not don't have fun. And young people hear me. I'm not saying don't have fun. You're going to have fun. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to do stuff wrong. You're going to get stuff wrong. But don't play with your life. Don't be reckless with your life. Because Allah gave you your life. And it wasn't so that you could just spend it, waste it. Just waste it. And when you make janazah for your brother or sister, this is a reminder. Where are they going? What are they facing? What's next? We know what Allah says. Well, I read the Quran, I want that too for myself. Well, how do I get that for me? How do I have a good outcome? So when we engage with the tradition, when we read the hadith of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it should humble us, man. Oh man, I'm not perfect. I can't be perfect. I'm not trying to be perfect, but I can be better than I am now. But in order for me to improve myself, my soul, I have to do that work. Otherwise, there's plenty of things that you can play with in this dunya. This is the playground. This is the playground. And the show that we're watching now will give people the impression, oh, there is no boundary. So you can just do whatever. As long as you got money, you good. Seriously, think about this. As long as you got money, because this is in us somewhere. This is how we ended up in this situation. Like, oh, the money guy knows what to do. Meanwhile, the money guy is still a servant of Allah. The money guy is going to be put in a grave. The money guy had a mom and dad. The money guy's mom and dad are dead. That means the money guy's going to die. The money dad got children. That's life. So it's a little deeper than that. So don't be fooled, don't be deceived. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to shower His mercy. Craig's son's name was Rashad. Inshallah, we're going to offer Salat al-Janazah immediately after the Jumu'ah prayer. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to embrace him in His mercy, shower him in light, make his grave spacious and illuminated, bless him with good company in the grave, protect him from all of the evil of the grave, all of the darkness of the grave, all of the uncomfortability of the grave. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make his accounting easy. We ask Allah ta'ala to make his death a little easier on his parents. May Allah give them ease and peace and acceptance, because it's difficult to bury a child. May Allah ta'ala make it easy for our brother and for Rashad's mother and for his family. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our dua and our salah for him when we offer the prayer. Allah wa sallu ala sayyidil mursaleen wa imam al-muttaqeen faqad amarakum Allah bidhalika fi kitabihi al-aziz. وقال جل من قائل إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم وبارك وأنعم